But if you actually watch how they played, that was a team that executed the game plan well.
Every time a team loses, the answer isn't get rid of these guys. This is a Pacers Celtics sweep conversation. We never really got into the meat and potatoes of the conversation. I want to start off with the stat of the day. It comes from that Pacers series. And I think it's about your guy, Damo, the whole Pacers staff. The Pacers had at least a 90% win probability in the fourth quarter during games 1, 3, and 4 in the Eastern Conference Finals. Yeah, I know, that's pretty. 90%, and things just shifted. We kind of touched on it a little bit, but let's recap the entirety of the series. I want to kind of start off with, what did the Pacers do from here? We saw their inabilities, we saw their abilities. What are we doing as an organization?
I'm not gonna lie. If I'm the hearing that stat of them having a 90% win percentage in the fourth quarters each makes sense. We watched them fumble those games where they lost very easily one game, so they just executed. Execution was horrible. That's fine. I would genuinely say what I would do if I'm front office for them. I'm finding that perimeter scorer. They need a guy who can score on a half court, who can just get them a bucket at any given moment, who can slow. I understand he like to play fast, but when the game slows down, he can get a bucket. I know Siakam's supposed to be that guy, but they need more of a three, more perimeter-oriented than a Siakam. They need a solid 1-2 punch on offense because, let's be honest, when it comes to Reese is best used when he's able to pass, play make, and keep the offense flowing and going. Yes, the scoring is great when he's deciding to be productive and he's deciding to be aggressive, but let Reese play within the system, let Reese do his thing, and I feel like that'll be a way more optimal offense for them. But for the most part, they don't need to do too much. They don't need to be trading away young guys and draft picks. Try to sign a guy in free agency. See if you can bring back Paul George. Throw offer at him. Probably a couple other guys. But get you an elite perimeter threat, in my opinion.
You don't think Nembhard can be that for them? Or is it too young type shit?
I would say too young. I would say him. I don't typically like him and Reese backcourt long term because they need
the ball.
They need a bigger defender. They both need the ball in their hand, but you need a bigger defender out there because the defense Reese is giving you just isn't it. So you need a guy who actually can defend on the perimeter at any given time. I understand people are saying Benedict Mathurin. That's cool. I still want a more established perimeter player, not Benedict, unless Benedict's supposed to take a huge leap, which I don't expect a huge leap. I expect probably a cool one, but not a huge one.
I'll take the layup here because I'm shocked.
You said Paul George real quick.
CJ had a shot at the buzzer to win. He took it and he missed. And PG was like, I gotta have that shot. CJ was like, damn, was that a bad shot? I'm like, shit, bro, that's the best shot we could get. Game 4. They threw it to CJ. That CJ fired that to PG and he missed it. Get in the locker room. Cause CJ did me like this. It was the Gatorade commercial. CJ had a shot at the.
You think that's what they need?
Oh my
LeBron James went out and bricked up an entire finals. Bricked up an entire finals. He left Cleveland, came back a better person when he was older. You have a guy like Paul George, that Kobe Bryant airballed hella free throws when he was young, made things right when he got older and got more comfortable. Paul George could be in the same light.
Has PG gotten better moment?
Yes, he's gotten better since those days.
Wait, what did LeBron do?
In the clutch?
Oh.
I mean, at least prime PG was better. I mean, I don't know what you want me to say. I mean, PG has gotten better than that version of Paul George. Yeah.
Damo, what did LeBron do?
You heard me, man. I'm not doing this with you.
Oh my God. I just wanted to say I'm surprised by your take because, well, not really because you settled on the player that I think that they should get the most, and it's actually one of those teams that actually do need to go out and get a star. I think Paul George is perfect for this team because they still are relatively young. They're already trying to compete, and that's going to lead into my hot take later on. But for the most part, this team's biggest issue with me, where I want to see them improve, is definitely defense. I agree with Damo that Andrew's not the answer, but not because I don't believe in the scoring potential there. I think that's a question mark more than a guarantee. But, man, I just wish Reese and TJ McConnell made sense Maybe it does. Rick Carlisle is another person that we could put on the question marks as well. But yeah, like I wish that we literally saw against the New York Knicks, and they got past them. But we literally seen against the New York Knicks several times down the stretch that we're like, damn, TJ McConnell's in the game. He's able to lock that up. He's able to slow that down just a little bit. Lockup is a stretch, pardon me. But if he's able to contain him a little bit, because Andrew was getting fucked up by JB. And then we go to the Boston Celtics, and it arguably got worse, but the thing was Andrew was getting buckets at that point, so it was fine. And then the rest of the Pacers team, I don't know what happened to Miles Turner. I think he's still a good center, but he used to be a center that like every team 10 out of 10 needs, perfect two-way big. I don't know what happened to him on the defensive end. He's solid now. He's not what he used to be, in my opinion. Maybe he can get back to that because he's not relatively the oldest player. But defense is the number one thing for me, and I would say they do need that score as well, hence why I think they should get Paul George. But I would double down on the defensive end. You have one of the most what-the-fuck offenses any given night. We've even seen it in this postseason, to keep it casual, that this team can just shoot 70% for funsies. They ended the game with 67%, and they really should have ended at 75. I don't know what we're doing.
Yeah, this team, from what I saw, even with Halliburton out, was a well-coached team, I think, at the end of the day. In the clutch, Rick Carlisle in the clutch, different story. But the system that they ran and how they played as a unit, very well-coached team. And I do believe it can work. I think it could be successful in the Eastern Conference. The biggest question, like what everyone has been saying, has been defense. And also just more experience in the clutch. I just think, I don't know if it's a Rick Carlisle thing. I don't know if the players just need to be in those situations more. But a lot of those fumbles that they had in the clutch were inexcusable. So, and I don't know, man. I'm not high on Miles Turner. I don't know if he's their center of the future. Like, I don't know. Maybe would it be better if they got a more like Derek Lively ass dude or a Daniel Gafford? That's a stronger rebounder, just as good of a shot blocker, but is a stronger lob threat, and then use that asset to have better perimeter defense. I don't know. Maybe that's something they can explore. But I do know that like Miles Turner and the spacing that he provides from the five is like really important to them too.
Real quick before Omar goes, you think Reese is a guy that should be like, obviously he has the talent to do it, but do you think a Tyrese is like a lob guy? Pause if needed.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I might say absolutely.
Okay.
Guys, the NBA playoffs are
Heating up,
and I am excited to bring to you Prize Picks, the best way to play daily fantasy sports. All you're going to do is download the app, go to the website, and then you're going to select your players and make some picks. I'm going to go Evan Mobley, more on points, easy one. And I'm going to go Devin Booker, less on his PRA. I'm going to put some money in, $1 million. I'm going to go ahead and hit place entry.
And if you use code LKIB, Prize Picks will match up to 100% on your first deposit up to $100.
Shout out to Prize Picks for sponsoring this episode. I just don't, I'm not, in favor of people talking about blow this up, blow that up, or whatever the case may be. Every time a team loses, the answer isn't get rid of these guys. I think that's why the Boston Celtics have maintained success for a minute. Miami has maintained success. Milwaukee, of course, they have great talent on their team. But every time you lose, the answer isn't necessarily blow it up. Maybe find a way to make something work.
You don't think the Celtics blew it up this last offseason, though? Because I understand, like, Derek White, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, and Al are still there. But getting rid of Rob, Sixth Man of the Year, Malcolm Brogdon, and Marcus Smart, heart and soul, wasn't a blow up to you?
Well, listen to what I'm saying. If you take time to figure out what you got going and you've really stress tested this, if you move on, you move on. But I'm talking about, okay, this is like the Pacers' first real year of doing something on a successful level. This is the Timberwolves' first real year of doing things to a successful level. They lose out of the playoffs. People, got to get rid of this guy, got to get rid of this guy, got to get rid of 3 starters and 2 bench guys. And that's how we're going to be good. I mean, I guess this isn't video games.
Yeah.
If your answer is, we'll get rid of this guy, we'll get LeBron, Paul George, and a Derek Lively type player, and Sar should be good to go. Like, we're not doing that. Let some of these players build. Let some of these people develop. I like Nembhard. Let's give him another year or 2 behind, Tyrese or next to Tyrese. Let's see how that works before people are like, he's the next guard I would max out. Come on, man. Let's be a little serious. I do want to look at this Jaylen Brown quote here. Quotable. This is your guy, B-Souls.
Marketable.
Jaylen Brown from Marietta, my guy, says, I know people think that Indiana wasn't a good team or whatever the case may be, but I thought they were as tough as anybody we played all season. So shout out to them and respect to them. Is that a backhanded compliment? I think that, B-Souls, did you feel like Indiana was tough?
Just from an execution standpoint, like they played as a unit and they executed well. I understand people are gonna look at me and say, "Oh, I'm coping. This is an excuse for the Celtics and the competition that they played." But if you watch the game, that was a well-coached team making tough buckets, working hard, hustling hard out there. They played well. And Jaylen Brown, all he said was, a lot of y'all think they're ass because of the weak East narrative, because of the fact that they don't have Tyrese. But if you actually watch how they played, that was a team that executed the game plan well. You know what I'm saying? Like Nembhard out there, the way he was playing, those last 2 games was a 30-point per game scorer. Like that's how he was playing. So I understand Andrew Nembhard isn't Tyrese, he isn't, you know what I'm saying, Steph Curry isn't all these things, but the way he was playing was compy. It was compy. Yeah.
I agree. I think one of the things that we do as NBA fans is we love to revise history. We love to revise history. We do it with the 90s. Michael was getting guarded by BJ Armstrong. Oh my God. And BJ Armstrong might be trash. But if in that series or in that time, BJ Armstrong was giving Michael fits, then it is what it is. He was making it harder for him to score, this, that, and the third. It is what it is. But if these guys don't have name recognition, then, that's when people are feeling like their confirmation is biased. And let's say the Celtics going to win a ring this year. In 6, 7, 8, 9 years, people will be like, oh, Tatum's first ring. He didn't fucking play anybody. Who is Nembhard? Who is that guy? Nembhard never becomes anything. Who is Nembhard? Well, I mean, he's not all NBA, I guess, but like B-So said, he was a 30-point per game guy. Why is that crazy?
Well, in the last 2 games, not just in general.
Yeah, I'm a not hard disagree with you all, but I do think that the reason why people had the narrative and why I think this goes unironically into your everyone gets a trophy thing is because nobody's sitting here saying the Indiana Pacers are a bad team. And nobody's sitting here saying that the Indiana Pacers couldn't get a potential game off of them. Granted, I had the Celtics sweeping, but it wasn't anything like they won. You know what I'm saying? Even without Tyrese, especially given how they are structured. My thing is nobody considered them as a serious threat to win the entire encounter between themselves and the Boston Celtics. Or 4 games. So that part of history, Andrew Nembhard, I'm sorry, gang. But when we talk about years down the line, he only played Andrew in the Reeseless Pacers. I think that's gonna still have some merit, not from the sense in terms of like disrespecting them. I mean, granted, some people are, but when I say these things, I'm gonna say in the sense of, oh yeah, they was competitive. It was a good team, young team. Inexperience clearly was the factor. Same way Oklahoma City's downfall. Inexperience clearly was the factor there as well. But they were never going to beat them. I think that's what it's for me. Sage Yap and we don't do pull-ups anymore. Pull-up post-pod.
I just think the whole premise of the comment is just Indy just wasn't as bad as y'all make it seem. I do think he kind of gassed it a little bit with, man, they played as good as anyone we played. Like I saw how Denver played against us. I don't know necessarily if Indy was that. You know what I'm saying? But the premise that team wasn't as bad just because they didn't have Reese and they weren't favored, I agree with.
No, yeah. I agree, my brother.